Hello, my beloved friends. Thank you for tuning in to Moments of Faith. Last week we talked about successful Christian living and what that looked like. We tried to flesh it out a little bit. What is successful Christian living? That's living in the Spirit of Christ, walking in the Spirit of Christ. As we looked at verse 27, only let your conduct be worthy of the gospel of Christ, the manner of life to be worthy. How you walk as a child of God influences the people around you. So if you want to be a true success, then you walk in the gospel of Christ worthy of that and pointing to Him, influencing people around you for Christ. And so I want to read a couple of verses in Philippians chapter 1, verse 20 and 21. It's kind of like Paul's purpose for living. He had a purpose for what he was doing. I ask you today, if you're going to be a success and for Christ, you have to have a purpose. You have to narrow down, say, well, I'm just walking in the Spirit. Well, narrow that down. What does that mean to you? Do you have a purpose? What is your purpose? See, a purpose will motivate you. It's going to be your motivation for why you get up, why you go through the day. Secondly, a purpose will keep your priorities right. So if you have a purpose, you have to have priorities to keep that purpose right. And thirdly, a purpose will develop your potential. You let your potential come through your purpose. And then lastly, a purpose will give you power to live the Christian life. And so as we look at this purpose that Paul had, because he was successful as a Christian, taking the gospel everywhere he went, influencing people for Christ. And I want you to see his two purpose statements that I would call them in verse 20. According to my earnest expectation and hope, that in nothing I shall be ashamed, but with all boldness as always, so now also Christ will be magnified in my body, whether by life or by death. That was Paul's purpose, was to magnify Christ in his body, in his life, everything he did. That was his purpose. And that purpose is what motivated him. It kept his priorities right. It helped his potential to be developed, and then it gave him the power to do the great things that he was able to accomplish. It wasn't about Paul. It was about him magnifying Christ in his life. That was his purpose. And you get to verse 21, you know what he says? For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. My goodness. If we could look at that, we could simplify our life. It would take away some of the burdens that we put on ourselves and trying to be something that we're not. God made you just like you are for a purpose. He gifted you to do certain things for Him. And as you find that purpose in your life, the purpose is not to be successful. That wasn't Paul's purpose. His purpose was to magnify Christ. And when he did that, then he influenced other people. And that's what made the difference in his life. It's what made him a success. So my friend, I pray today that you will make a difference right where you are by living out your purpose in life. God bless you. Thank you for listening today.